Welcome Bitcoin friends, it's Bitcoin Mamo. Today we're going to look at the Bitcoin charts. We'll do some TA. We've just had the new weekly open and the 2-week open. So let's see what we can see in the charts. So I want to start here firstly on the 2-week chart. And as we can see, we did have this order block here that we were inside. And we have closed below this order block now. These order blocks are supply and demand zones. We get a red candle in an uptrend. We mark these off as order blocks and they become of interest when we do come back into these zones. So we have closed below this order block and we have just opened this new 2-week candle. I'm still looking at possible targets here at the golden pocket area using the fib retracement from the low here to the top. And that's around the $37,200 to $38,000 area. But we can see we do have a lot of volume here on the VPVR, amount of volume traded at certain price levels, and so there's a lot of support here. And as we can see, we did wick down into it during this 2-week period and did get a decent bounce off of that. So whether we make it down to this golden pocket area or if we just hang around maybe this 0.5 fib, if we do get another pullback, we'll have to look at the smaller term time frames to look at other possible levels where we might bounce in here. The weekly chart, we do have a couple of order blocks here. This is the 2-week order block. And I do have this yellow trend line drawn here, just connecting the tops. And this is of interest because when we do go on the log chart here, we can see this yellow trend line did act as support on this pullback here. And this is a bump and run pattern here. We have a big drop, a U-shaped recovery, break above this key trend line. And we sometimes come back and retest it and get a strong bounce and carry on higher. Also have this other white trend line drawn here, and it's just taking the previous low back here and this low here on this pullback and just connecting these two lowest points. If we were to take it from these other candles, we can see that this green candle was actually lower. So I draw the trend line starting from the bottom of this green candle and just connect to the next low. And what we can see, the intersection of these two lines is around that 38,360 level and also around this golden pocket area. We could do the fib retracement from this low here. They are quite similar, but when taking it from this level, because we did have a decent pullback, can see that 618 level does line up pretty much spot on with the intersection. So I am still looking for this as a possibility here. We don't have to come back to this level. As I said on that volume profile here, we do have a lot of support at these levels, starting around that 40,400 area. But we can see quite a big spike here once we do get to this golden pocket area. Looking at the EMA ribbon here on the weekly, we can see we were looking to try to close above this ribbon with the body of the candle. Unfortunately, we did close in the ribbon here at 42.3 approximately. It's not the end of the world, but it would have been a more bullish sign to close the body above the ribbon here. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we can see we have been trending down here. We are starting to curve a little bit here, and we're pretty much in the mid-range. The RSI, we've been watching this red trend line here, and we're hoping to get back above this trend line. As we can see, we did close lower here, and we also closed below this rectangular box I've got drawn, which I talked about in the other videos, acted as support in the bull run here in 2020 after the stock market crash, and also during the 2016-2017 bull run. So this was a key level I was watching. Unfortunately, we have closed below this area. So that also leads credence to possibly pulling back to that golden pocket area. And if we were to come up here and get back above this rectangular box and this red trend line, then I would turn bullish here and into some long trades upon closing a weekly above this trend line. The daily time frame here, we can see we are in this falling wedge pattern here. We've had several touches on the top, several on the bottom, and we are sort of skating in the middle of this falling wedge here. We do have this order block drawn in blue, just showing this red candle in an uptrend, and we can see it has acted as resistance here. We did get pushed back down. We have wicked up into it again here, but we have been pushed down as of this current daily candle. So this is a key order block to get back above. We can see how well it's reacted with price here previously. It did support us several times here and also here. So this is a very key level, and we are spending a few times trying to get back above it. And again, if we were to break this level with this falling wedge, then I'd be happy to go into a long position here. Also have this orange trend line drawn, just connecting these two tops, and also got this top here on the pullback and acted as support on this pullback. And we did use it as support on these 2 wicks here. And we can see we've been dancing with this trend line recently, and currently we are below this orange trend line, but it is pretty much in line with this order block. So getting above both would be key. We're also looking at this drop here and doing the fib retracement on it. And we got that bounce back up to pretty much this golden pocket area. And then we were postulating this AB equals CD pattern, just taking the initial drop and applying it to the high here and looking at a possible target down here around 38.5. And if we were to do the fib retracement from the bottom of this pullback here to the top, we can see that that measured move also comes to this 0.618 level approximately. Also lines up with the intersection of this falling wedge pattern and also this long-term trend line that we also drew on the weekly chart. So there is a lot of confluence with this area down here around this 38,000 area. We do also have 2 order blocks here drawn from these 2 red candles here on the daily. So this would be a key area I would be looking to go long. On the bullish side here, we do have several wicks down here, and we do see they did get bought up. So there is demand in this area. Also on this drop, we did get this big green candle. So there was a lot of buyers stepping in here. So as I said, we don't have to go down to this level. And basically, I would enter a position down here if we did. But if we do end up breaking above this falling wedge pattern and this daily order block, then I'd be happy to go long here also. But while we're in this middle zone, I won't be looking for an entry. For the bears, we can see the daily EMA ribbon here is starting to flip with the yellow line coming down to meet the red line. And we did come into this EMA ribbon once here, and we got that rejection. And we're looking to try to test it again here. And within a couple of days, this EMA ribbon will be in line with this downward sloping trend line on the falling wedge. And if we can get above both of those, as I said, I would enter a long position. Looking at the volume profile here of this overall move, can see that there is some resistance here where we currently are. We did have this big spike of volume here, which got the bottom of this wick. The next spike here is down at that golden pocket area around that 38.2. Just looking at the fib levels, when we take it from this low here, we can see that we came back to the 786 level. It was quite well respected here, and currently we're in this golden pocket area using that as the low. The 0.5 level also got respected as a rejection level here. So I do think this fib retracement is also important. And when looking at both fibs here together, from this low and this low, we can see some confluence with the 0.5 level on the overall retracement and the 0.76 level on the smaller retracement on the fib. So that confluence has acted as support so far here. And perhaps this was the bottom and we are ready to break out. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we're still in this mid-range here. Looking at the RSI, we were watching this red trend line connecting these lows, and we're still below this trend line at the moment. Looking at some moving averages now, we have the yellow 50-day moving average and the red 200-day moving average. We did of course get that golden cross, and the yellow is still above the 200 for the time being. We don't want to see the death cross on the other side. If we are going to see that, we usually do spike into it. So it could be something to watch over the next few days if we are to stay below these moving averages. Looking at the Bitcoin futures chart on CME, we do have a similar falling wedge pattern, although it does look slightly different to the spot price chart. And we can see we did come up to test this trend line here. We did get a rejection, and currently we are still below this falling wedge trend line. And I did say if we can close above this trend line on a daily, it might be an early sign that we're going to break it also on the spot price. What we can also see here is we did have a golden cross on the futures chart, and currently we are right between the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. We also have a nice order block here on the daily coming from this green candle here in this downtrend. We do see it's quite relevant here, acted as resistance here also, till we're able to break above it, come back and test it, use it as support and carry higher. And we can see on these pullbacks we did wick down into this order block several times. It did act as support. And we also have that fib retracement drawn here with the golden pocket area around 38.4. So we could possibly come back down one more time, as I said, and maybe bounce off the 618 level and also hold this order block. Looking at the EMA ribbon here on the daily on the futures chart, can see that we have got rejected off of this also. However, looking on the weekly chart here, we can see that we are currently above the weekly EMA ribbon, even though we did close inside the ribbon. On opening, we did open above the ribbon, actually at 43.6, and we have pulled back to the top of this ribbon so far. Looking at the 4-hour chart now on the spot price for Bitcoin, we've got that same falling wedge pattern drawn here, that golden pocket area that we've been talking about. And we can see the EMA ribbon. We did try to get above it several times here, got rejected on the first go, and tried to break above again here. And so far we have gotten rejected. At the stochastic RSI, it is starting to come down here. So it is starting to come down. And looking at the RSI, what we did have here was hidden bearish divergence. We did make a slightly higher high here, but on the price action we made a lower high between the same points using the bodies of the candles. So this is hidden bearish divergence, and we are seeing that result now coming down. And we never really got a bullish divergence on the bottoming pattern here on the daily or the 4-hour. And quite often we see a bottom come in when we do get that bullish divergence. So perhaps we might see something on the other end here, where we get higher lows on the RSI, but lower lows on the price. And that would also give me confidence to go into a long. And perhaps we will come back to this golden pocket area around 38.5. But we'll have to see how it plays out. As I said, I'm open to either direction, whether we break above the falling wedge pattern entering a long, or if we come back down to this golden pocket area with divergence possibly, I'll look for a long there. So let's look at market cipher now. This is on the 4-hour chart, and we can see we do have this red dot. And see these red dots have played out pretty well here on the 4-hour recently, but again the high term time frames are more reliable, and we can still see the money flow is in the red. The 6-hour also has a red dot that is yet to be confirmed until the end of the day, but it's not a good sign that we're only coming up a little bit over the zero line here and getting these red dots. The 12-hour chart did get this green dot, and we're trying to push high with this blue wave. We do need to see it get above this zero line. At the moment, looks like it is starting to curve down. The daily, on the other hand, looks more bullish. We did get a green dot here, but we're yet to confirm it until the day does close. And we can see that previous green dot did give us a little bit of a boost up here, and the money flow is still in the green. And looking at this last little run up here, we did have a green dot here actually. And then before the day closed, we had a drop and the green dot did disappear. We ended up coming lower. So this green dot could disappear before the end of the day if we do drop down lower. And then we would have to look over the next coming days for that green dot again. The 2-day chart, we see this blue wave coming down. We'll be looking for a green dot here also. And we will open a new candle at the end of the day. Perhaps we're going to see that daily green dot followed by the 2-day and then 3-day and so on, and bottom out at the same time, and that would be a good indication of a bottom. We can see on the 3-day the blue wave has crossed the 0 line, and again we need to form a tight blue wave here with a green dot, and that would be quite a bullish sign. We do see the money flow dipping into the red though. But as I said, if we can get that daily green dot to give momentum to that 2-day green dot and then eventually the 3-day green dot, then that could possibly indicate a bottom. And just to show you what I mean here, this is market cipher pulled up on 5 occasions. This top one here is the 1-day chart. We see that green dot. The 2-day chart below it, the 3-day chart below that one, then the 4-day chart, then the 5-day chart. We can see that if we can get this green dot on the daily, and then the 2-day might follow, and then the 3-day, and then the 4, then the 5. So the momentum from the daily green dot could give us enough upside push to get the green dot on the 2-day, and that could give us the momentum for the 3-day and so on. As we can see here, this was actually the stock market crash here back in March. And what we saw here was we got a daily green dot here, followed by the 2-day green dot, then the 3-day green dot, then the 4-day, then the 5-day green dot. And that was on 31st of March. And we can see the 31st of March here indicated a bottom, and we did go higher. But we got those green dots all the way up, and they followed onto each other, and it did indicate good momentum. They led into each other, indicating that we were bottoming out. So we could see a similar thing here as we were mentioning. The weekly does have a red dot confirmed now, but hopefully those daily green dots can eventually flip into another green dot here on the weekly. And we have been comparing to that 2013 mid-cycle pullback here, where we did get one more quick flash crash with the red dot on the weekly, but then we did get a green dot not long after that, a couple of weeks after that, and finish off the bull run. This does obviously look similar here to the topping out of the bull market, where we got a green dot bounce and then a red dot, and then we did go lower and go into a bear market. But as mentioned previously, I do think this is the mid-cycle pullback based on many other reasons. But to confirm that, we would need to see a green dot within a couple of weeks to do a similar thing here. And with the new 2-week candle, we can see we do have a red dot here. It's not confirmed until the next 2-week candle opens on the 11th of October. And again, it does look similar here to the start of this bear market. But again, I think we're in this mid-cycle pullback where we did also have a green dot followed by a red dot and then a green dot in the following 2-week candle and finished off the bull run. But they are quite interesting comparing this one and this one. And perhaps I'll do a more longer term analysis video later in the week and go into more detail comparing these two situations, where we're entering a bear market or where we're coming out of a mid-cycle pullback. So I think that's about all. There was a lot of information there. And as I said, I won't be entering a trade unless we break above this daily EMA ribbon and this falling wedge pattern, or if we do come down to this golden pocket area, I would look to go long also. But we're going to have to wait a couple of days and see how this does play out. So thanks for watching. I'm Bitcoin Mamo. See you next time. Bye.